Okay. Hi. Make sure the hair looks handsome. Well, what can I do? Only so much I can do. Oop. All right. Where was I? So, I just finished. Oh, hey, let's see. Why do I not see that chat pop up? What am I missing? Oh, hi. So why am I not seeing those chats pop up? Am I watching the right thing? Let me refresh this. They popped up on my embedded stream. Drops. I still have the Space Marine 2 drops enabled. Why did I not see those pop up? Rancor Prime. Suleiman. Why did I see them? Where are they? Something's weird. Let me refresh over there. No, YouTube's not showing. There's one. How do I dismiss that? Dismiss the message. There. All right. All right. I'm still learning. Okay. So here we are. Here we go. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I was painting this morning and just thought I'd pop in and stream this because, you know, yeah, painting. So, I was talking briefly with my buddy John last night. He went to a 40K RTT yesterday, and he actually won with his orcs, which is amazing. He's really a great player, super, super highly intelligent and smart and analytical. And every time he and I play here in my little man cave, I learn something. And I'm looking forward to getting together with him because I have a lot to learn with this new Blood Angels list. He and I are going to kind of break it a bit, break it down, learn how to play it, figure it out. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be live streaming all of that. Maybe I can get him to come over soon for a game. Today would have been a great day for that, but he went and played 40K yesterday, so he's got a baby, so it's kind of hard for him to escape and come play. So, there's an ad. The best way to avoid the ads is subscribe. John just texted me. That's my kind of RTT exclamation point. Hey, I'm streaming right now on Twitch. You should pop in. I was just talking about you. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty beautiful day outside. Yesterday was an amazing day. He can't pop into the stream because his parents are there. Oh, life. Family and life. Let me see if I can just do that. I haven't really been paying much attention to it. Space Marine stuff versus Warhammer. Let me go and see if I can do that. I doubt I can without resetting my stream. No, I don't think I can. They don't really have a Warhammer 40K category anyway. I can do it in my Twitch dashboard. Look at that. I found it. Thank you. I just said it's a Warhammer. Yeah, Warhammer. I'm not really sure Games Workshop wants people watching me right now anyway. They tend to not appreciate people being critical of the great emperor that is Games Workshop. Um, and I hate that I've had to be critical lately. Okay, what am I doing? Some of my guys are out of place. These two boys do not belong here. This guy belongs back here. This guy belongs back there. Yeah, I did a pretty big rant about the box set on YouTube the other day. And it's, like a guy popped in, and I appreciate everyone's comments, and I encourage everyone to share their thoughts, but his point was that I should be happy and thankful that I got an update. And that's just so not accurate a statement. His point was that some factions haven't had updates in years to some models, and that's true for every faction. They just updated Dante, and that model has got to be close to 20 years old. So I get that, and I get that point of view. But my point was in the sheer drop-off in quality, while at the same time pushing through this beautiful quality. The models that are coming out are just amazing, and that's for sure. But Games Workshop made a name for themselves way back with the unnecessary level of quality that they put into all of their work. The original Warhammer RPG back in the 80s, there was just so much quality on every page. And even just recently, like the old special edition Blood Angels book. Hold on, I'll grab it for you. Look at this. I mean, let's look at this for a second. This was, let me push my boys out the way. This was the special edition Blood Angels Codex from a couple years ago, and it's just breathtaking, the sheer level of quality in this work. It's truly amazing. When you pull out this thing, it's like a fake book, and it had the cards in here. It had little brass objective markers. It has this beautiful poster. They used to give you this stuff in these special edition box sets. Now, if you want the poster, like I was talking about, previously on my stream, you got to go buy it for whatever their merch section. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about my disappointment in that box that they put out. It was a limited edition. It was a special opportunity for them to create something magical, and that's where they dropped the ball. This was very expensive and such a wonderful reward. I loved this box set. The codex inside, I love this. It just feels epic when you touch it. There was only 750 of these made. Here, look. And I managed to get number 716 of 750. And this is truly a special edition codex. So when I look through this and I lament upon the fact that they have dropped the ball, this is what I'm truly talking about. This level of quality seems to be gone from Games Workshop. Simultaneously, they also put out that year's Warhammer 40K special, special edition release, which I also purchased, and that alone also was a beautiful edition. I do believe I have purchased my last limited edition box set from Games Workshop, because all I got was some repackaged assault marines. I can't stress upon this enough how unsatisfied I am. I know it's a broken, and I'll give up on this soon. I'll stop focusing on this, but it needs to be kind of said again and again. If any of you are watching Games Workshop, uh, you need to be paying attention to these words, because the people that support you and the people that you are making record profits off, they have an expectation of quality, and you are dropping the ball. You are cutting costs in the areas that we love you for, and that hurts us. You know, it's not okay. I was honestly expecting in a Blood Angels limited edition codex release something like you did previously. And I've made it very clear what I was expecting as far as the Death Company bits. You already had a Blood Angels upgrade sprue. You didn't have to put out another one. And I'm talking Primaris. You already had all those shoulder pads already in. Let's see. Um, just checking up on messages coming in. So, you've already got that upgrade sprue out there. It was, and especially considering that now every upgrade sprue's got 5 Terminator shoulder pads on it. People are only ever going to play so many Terminators. So they're going to end up with dozens of those things just sitting around on a shelf. You didn't need to do that. Maybe add a small sprue into a Blood Angels Terminator box. But yeah. All right. Time to move on. Time to move on. Yes, time to move on. I'm moving on. Time to paint then. Here we go. So, I lost my brush here. It's just the one. This brush has seen better days. So, I'm sure I'll come back to it because it's what's on my mind right now. Let me switch gears though. Yesterday I went fishing on Long Island Sound. I live in Connecticut. And it was such an amazing, crisp, beautiful day. It started out windy and rough. But then all of a sudden when the tide came in, everything changed. And we were sitting there. There was probably like 5 boats in our general area that we were fishing by New Haven Bay. There's some docks or some breakwaters there. We were fishing near the breakwater catching porgies, which are like a smaller kind of white fish. Anyway, so all of a sudden I look, and probably half a mile out, maybe further, I could see dolphins kind of cresting up and out of the water. And a lot of them. So all the other boats, boom, went that way immediately. And we just kind of stayed put where we were. Because we were on like a school of porgies just pulling them out of the water. And all of a sudden, those dolphins kind of just came closer to us and closer to us. And next thing you knew, we were just surrounded by dolphins kind of swimming around in circles. Definitely eating our porgies that we were catching. But whatever, I caught so many great videos of them. I'm going to put them on YouTube, but I need to edit them because we had music playing. So there's a lot of music in the background, which I'll get copyright dings if I post that. But once I find some time, I'm going to edit out the sound and put in some other sound. So anyway, it was just such a, just one of those moments that makes you just kind of appreciate life, I guess. Such a watching these, and they came pretty close. I got one little video. They were like 25 feet away from me. And there must have been at least 100. Just one of those moments that makes you truly appreciate just being alive. And I was out there. My son was out there, and he was all grumbly about having to go fishing. But I think even he, for a brief moment, cracked a small smile. So yeah, magical. It really was to see them come in like that. Um, I shared the videos with one of my friends last night, and she was, it was like breathtaking almost to see these things coming up out of the water, like truly like up and out, cresting out of the water and going back down. It was like a nature show, and I was in the middle of it. I was the one creating the nature show. Lauren Green's New Wilderness, and I just totally dated myself because most of you don't even know who Lauren Green was, let alone the fact that he had a nature show. I think it was on Disney. I forget. Anyway, it used to come on like on Sundays, like during like right like there was like the Disney hour, and before or after it was Lauren Green's New Wilderness. And he did this kind of like what I do, I guess. Maybe I picked it up from Lauren Green. This narration that he did, talking about what was going on screen. And I always just remember just kind of watching and like almost losing myself in that moment, kind of becoming one with Lauren Green. Ay, ay, ay. The places my mind goes. So, painting. I went through and I did the highlight with the dark gray. Used to be called Codex Gray. Now it's Dawnstone. Using, again, airbrush paints straight from the pot. And so now I must decide, do I want to follow through with the second highlight and be done with the highlights? Or lay in some more shading? You decide. What would you like to see me do? Who's watching? Hey. Oh, Urban Steel. Hey, Urban Steel. Hi, welcome back to Jawaballs YouTube. Take a look in the top left of the screen. There's a little text block up there with my Twitch location. Pop over there if you can and join up and watch. That's my primary chat. That's where I'm watching the people chatting. Otherwise, you only kind of pop up on my screen like P. Dubuque just did. More cowbell. That was a total pop culture reference. More shading. Come over and watch. Okay, so Urban Steel is the one that has spoken. So we're gonna do some shading then. And I was using. I think I found what kind of works for me. I was using Black Templar Contrast and Badab Black. I got to get another pot of Nuln Oil. I thought I had a fresh pot of it. Nuln Oil is their new shade, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is. It's once I finally get around to cleaning this terrible mess I have in front of me, I will. I mean, look here. Look at this. Oh, hold on, that's a bad one. Let me get the other camera. Well, that's up there. I'll just rotate it. Can you see what's going on there? It's just, anyway. It's just looks like a hurricane rolled through here. Hurricane Sue just kind of rolled through. All right, so yes, old people get the references. This is an old person channel. I'm an old person doing Twitch. Old people on Twitch. So let me check back to Urban Steel. Yeah, or Urban Steel. Pop over and watch me on Twitch, so I can. It's easier for me to keep up with the chat. Okay, then so the shading. So I use the Black Templar, which really is great. I painted my Judiciaire with Black Templar. I sprayed him white, and this is something I've never done. I prefer to paint up from shade, so I paint my stuff black, then paint up the highlights, as opposed to priming the models white and painting into the shadows. So the secondary, the second option gives you a brighter model. Meanwhile, the first one, the shading on black, gives you, in my opinion, it helps you build the contrast. It makes the models darker, um, more shaded, more. It helps me create more value. It's harder for me to lay in shadow than it is to lay on highlight. That's the way I work. So, which is why I don't really do a whole lot of shading after I've painted my highlights and my base coating. So, I'll leave in areas of shade. But since you asked for it, here it comes. So let me see. Do I want to put in the Nuln Oil? I'll put the Nuln Oil into some of the deeper recessed areas, and I'll put it into the areas between armor plates. I mean the Black Templar's contrast, and then I'll put the Badab Black, the wash. I keep picking up dark colored pots, hoping that's black. This is Nightshade. Drakenhof Nightshade. That is blue. I don't know what's in here. No, that's the red one. There's this one. I think I put purple in this one. That's a known oil with purple. And yeah. So, Lauren Green, New Wilderness. Okay, so I'm gonna go through with the Nuln Oil here, or the Badab Black. I'm just gonna call it Nuln Oil. You get it. This is probably one of the last remaining Badab Blacks on the planet. The mechanism of the pot. Actually, these little bit older ones, they stay open better. I don't know. They dry up. They get spilled. I must have spilled at least 10 of these things throughout the years. Myself on the paint area. Trying to put the lookers on. So when the lookers are on, I have a hard time kind of reading chat. So bear with me. Whoopsie, something just popped up on the other screen. Hold on. Whispers from the Warp. Hi, Whispers from the Warp. You're in Connecticut too? Did you enjoy that beautiful day yesterday? Did you get out on the sound? Whispers from the Warp. Pop over to my Twitch channel. It's there in the top left. And sign up if you don't have it. That's where I do my primary chat from. Let's see. Maybe I can give you a link to it. Copy. Oh, every time I still have Alexandra's. I gotta get back to her about doing that podcast. There. Pop over there and check it out. Hit the follow and be part of the chat on that side. Okay. Lookers are on. When I have these things on, I gotta stay like a foot away, or else I get dizzy. I can't move. So with this, I use my fine brush and I just kind of pinpoint and I lay in areas. The biggest mistake people do when they use these washes is to just lather them on like a dip, like you're dipping them in shade. And that is not how they're meant to be used. If you've done a decent job with your base coating, this stuff just kind of accentuates that. If you can see this shoulder pad, what's just happening right now, I put the tip of the brush in, so like half the brush has the shade on it, and then I'll lay it sideways on the armor plate and just drag it across. So this shadows in, darkens in the bottom part of the shoulder pad. Meanwhile, I don't touch the highlighted part of it, and that makes that part kind of stand out. So I'll do it right here on the Power Fist. This is the shaded part. That's the highlighted part. I'm going to drag it across the shaded part. Just kind of lay it in. The Power Fist has a rounded shape to it, so I'll kind of go in a rounded motion to leave a rounded area of shading. The Badab Black, as opposed to Nuln Oil, in my opinion, it's a superior product. It kind of dries faster. Yeah, see, this already looks better. Oh, getting dizzy. the other night on stream, I kind of made myself get a little queasy. I had to stop putting on my lookers, and I wasn't feeling all that great to begin with. I felt myself just getting a little bit icky. So this stuff is great because what it does is it kind of brings back down the sprayed highlight that I put on. It kind of reduces it a bit because it is black after all, not gray. So this stuff will bring it back. Forgive me if you're commenting. I cannot see, and if I look, that's bad. It resets my vision. And I need to keep it here. So, you know, you put this stuff pretty much in all the areas where you don't have any of the sprayed highlight. I gotta start going faster because I'll never get done this squad. I'm gonna try and go quick. Speed kills. Oh. I wonder if I got a copyright ding for humming. One of the areas I love to do this is up in the you know, the part right behind their buttocks. All right, I gotta go quicker, or else I'll never ever get this. I will get it done. Okay, one down. 10, 19 more to go. So you definitely don't want to just put it everywhere, because it defeats the purpose of its strength. This shade, and the paint will kind of pool up. You'll get little dried up puddles. See that? How I laid that in there? Oh. I just looked away and my eyes went all crazy just now. I saw someone chat, and I gotta go and see what they said. But you know what I need to get is some kind of like a narration tool so it reads to me. I wonder if that exists. It reads to me the chat as I'm focused here on my painting. These Primaris Marines have a wonderful kind of arm guard here, which is great for this because it kind of grabs the shadow. They don't have, Space Marines don't have a lot of rounded or organic kind of parts that grab shading well, unlike Tyranids, for example, which are very organic. So when you could get something where you can have this really beautiful transition from light to dark, it's called contrast. When you can get that beautiful contrast coming out on a mundane kind of armor part, take advantage of it. It's those little details that help to sell the model. So that little arm guard is one I always focus on my Primaris dudes. Two down. Let me check chat real quick. Lower the lookers. Yeah, I made a Forrest Gump reference. Whispers from the Warp. Thanks for popping in. Oh, we had an ad popping up anyway. Okay, so Whispers from the Warp was in Ridgefield, which is about half an hour from me, give or take. That's pretty much Connecticut. Everything's either half an hour away or 8 hours away, depending on time of day, with the stupid traffic in the state. I just don't leave my house if I can avoid it during certain times of day. Those non molded shoulder pads are going to get decals. The one thing that the new box set did do okay was they put lots of Death Company decals in there. I didn't get any more of my knee insignias for squad markings, but now I got to keep buying them on eBay for like $30 a sheet. If anybody has any of those Blood Angels decal sheets from like Leviathan, let me know. I need them. I need them. I don't know if I will even bother with the contrast paint. Yeah, I will. It really does make the armor pop in the recessed areas. Look, here's that shoulder of the arm guard again. So I'm just going to kind of lay it in here. Let this kind of pop out and let that pop out, but it's going to shade here in the middle. Sometimes I nail it. Sometimes I kind of flub it. It's okay. Happy little accidents, right? A friend of mine had popped into my Facebook. I put up a picture of my Death Company on Facebook, and she called me the Bob Ross of Twitch, which is a very, very nice compliment. Because a lot of what I do is happy little accidents. I kind of discover ways to do things as I do it. Three down, 17 to go. Okay, now look. This one kind of got a little heavier dose of gray. Can you see the top? It's very gray. You can see that through the terrible camera. Now I'm going to kind of bring that back down. So I'm going to go up and over with the wash. Let it settle into that kind of recessed area. Just lightly. And then heavy on the bottom. So here we go. Because this is going to make that pop. Oh, you see it? You see what just happened? Across the bottom too. See that? Up and over now. I left a line of shade to make it pop out. And then across the bottom of the armor. You know what they call that? A teaching moment. I found the time to make a point and then demonstrate on the spot, and it worked. Once again, if you're just kind of popping in or you're just watching, I am demonstrating shading using Nuln oil. In this case, actually, it's Badab Black, which is the old version of Nuln oil. I don't have any Nuln oil. And I'm demonstrating that there is a right and wrong way to do this. And you've probably just been of the mindset where you just, it's natural. You just kind of lather it on there and let it do its, let it fill in. And the better way is to use a fine detail brush and be very specific about where you place those highlights. My son's over there rolling his eyes at me. I can hear his eyes rolling around the basement. It's okay, Jack. Daddy's cool. Daddy's a streamer. So you can, hopefully you can kind of see, I do need to invest in a better camera. The point of this shade is to create contrast. Whenever you put a dark next to a light, that dark pushes the light forward in space, making it look more 3D. This is the secret of drawing and painting. And you know, if you look at paintings, you'll see that. Where there's a highlight, something bright, usually there's a dark shape next to it. And that it's that dark shape that pushes the light shape forward, creating the illusion of 3D. Creating depth and value. Value is lightness and darkness in color. So value is more shading than contrast. But they're kind of the same. They work together. Values is transition of color. So when it goes from light to dark, smooth, that's a better description of value. Versus contrast, where it's an intense dark next to an intense light without a lot of transition. 4 down. I was listening to Lou Reed earlier. Such a perfect day. I didn't really understand that song. I first heard that song on a commercial for a video game, I think it was. And I liked it. And when you first listen to the song, I don't think that you understand the meaning of the song. And when you really listen to it several times, you start to understand that it's a whole lot darker. The song's got a whole lot more darkness to it. You know, you hear the words, such a perfect day, and, you know, you think he's just kind of reminiscing on a great day, an afternoon in the park drinking sangria. And it wasn't, you know, really until I wrapped my head around the ending of the song that I understood it. Because he talks about, like, the final words, which he repeats like 3 or 4 times. You're going to get or reap just what you sow. Which is a dark thing to say. You're going to reap what you sow. You're going to get what you deserve. And I'm like, why is he saying that? Because he's talking about such a great day they had. And then I realized that, and then I started to pick up other parts of the song where he's talking about, basically the person was like leading him on. My take on it. I never looked up any actual explanation of the lyrics, but the things you do when you're kind of painting miniatures. So yeah, so like
I got touched the grass and she rejected
my guess is that the other person of the song was just like leading him on,
Okay.
and having these perfect days just to disappear. And so the song is kind of stalkerish in a way. You need to go hear it now. You need to go play it. Whoop, I got some chat here. Let me see. Yeah, I've this camera is not a great camera, and there's so much going on. The lines, especially on my paint area, that is trying to focus on all this stuff. I need one that has a macro focus, so that I can get it to focus on what I want it to. See how it's still grabbing the background. Oh, look, yeah. So was my take? What's it say there? Was my take on par or like accurate with what's going on in the song? Really? Only just recently did it make sense to me. I was like, wait a second, there's something going on here with this song. I thought it was like a love song.
So,
So, just to get back to my thought here with the shading with the wash. So, this wash kind of is very matte, and it dulls down the armor. So it doesn't really the final effect doesn't really come through until you put the varnish on, and that's where the magic happens. You're going to reap just what you sow. Very dark thing to say to someone that you're in love with. Yeah, that makes such a impact. This little line I've dragged up down the middle of that helmet crest, definitely key. Let me make sure I'm doing that on all the guys. My eyes are burning from my lookers. They're like magnified, they're like binoculars almost. And I don't know, I think I can't use them. No, well, no, I just can't keep changing my focus. All right. 5 down, 15 to go. Let me take them off for a moment. Kind of let my eyes rest. Close the pot. An open pot is an invitation to destruction. I wonder if Bob Ross ever said that. I don't think he's ever used that phrase, invitation to destruction. Someone's probably going to drag it out of the Ethernet now. Oh. Let's see, any YouTube chat? Whispers from the warp. Let me see. I can't. If I put on my other glasses, I have to look through the very bottom of the lens to see what I'm doing. So just looking at these, they look pretty good. To kind of narrate what's going on now. So the next highlight is going to be big. Because that's going to be where I grab the corners. And really bring out the 3D effect on the models. That's what makes them pop. And black is a really hard color to make pop. Everyone always overdoes it with the highlights and highlights every edge. And black is so subtle, you have to be gentle with it. Let me take a little reading break here and pop over to the link that. Which ones? Oh, those are the lookers. Oh, my eyes just went crazy. Let me see. I'm gonna click that link. Oh, oh, now I get it. Right, I was not. I was off. I was wrong. He is in love, but not with somebody else. I understand now. So the drug or the song "Perfect Day" uh, describes his addiction to drugs. Wow. I'll let you explore on your own. Because the focus of my channel is not that. So, interesting. So I guess I was right in everything I said, except for the fact that it's not about another person. Because everything I said could be described in that way as well. Hold on. People popping in the chat. Yeah, I can't change the focus as I'm streaming. Uh-oh. What just happened? No, it's an ad. Another ad. I can't. I need. There's like. I need to get like a tool, like a thing that will allow me to change the focus. I reduced the amount of ad time that pops up. By the way, there it is. So I did. I did reduce the amount of ad time to the bare minimum it takes to maintain the affiliate status and all that. So trust me when I tell you that I'm sensitive to you guys. But again, I encourage you to subscribe. Use your free Amazon sub. Plus, it's September. All right, I'm not going to wear my glasses for now. My lookers. I'm going to stick with So like I used to love. I loved these were the first generation of GW washes, and I kind of liked. I liked them a lot, and I had some early generation pots of Ball Red, which was their red wash, and I think they kind of changed the formula. That'll be my brother, Kenny, Colleen. Busy. They changed the formula because the first few pots I had a really nice satin luster to them, and I painted my army for that one year. I forget the year. My Nova Open army. Basically every fall I would paint a new army to play in the tournaments, and that one was where I really kind of mastered the red, and it was a finalist. No, there was like 350 armies in the tournament, and I didn't win the best painted, but just to be considered among the top 5 was an honor. But that particular red left a really beautiful chewy luster to the models, and then they changed the formula, and it never did that again. So I'll never forget. I was heartbroken. I had one pot left of that beautiful red wash, and I spilled it.
This is the last one, alright.
And I was never able to recreate that luster in my Blood Angels.
Get force field.
I got close, but never again did I get that look that I had.
Yeah, okay, bro. What is that ability?
Funny the things that we kind of hold on to, right? Some of the biggest changes in my painting that forced me to have to redo, but then I was able to recover. Like for example, Blood Red, their old Citadel red, which was my highlight red, and they abandoned Blood Red
Immediate ray on it.
in favor of the new
Yeah, it is.
versions of red, and it was like Wild Rider red, which I hated.
Gotta have this little
It
teleport
just
ability.
did not do
Holy hell.
the trick.
The one I teleports in front of your face. That one.
Wild Rider red. I'm gonna rebase some of these dudes because they're too tippy. One of the models has this, like they're just leaning over. So I'm gonna kind of redo all those. That's so funny about that Lou Reed song. But like, I wonder if when they used it in that game commercial, if they understood the meaning. You know, did they even get it?
Get out. He tried doing it on me. I just force fielded him.
You know, after I finish these next few, I'm gonna do a little searching for a new camera. Maybe someone's sitting there bored just listening to me talk because you can't really see what I'm doing anyway. Maybe you can search for the best camera for streaming miniature painting. I'm sure there's someone that has figured it out. Opus, I think, is one of the guys that streams a lot of miniature painting. His stuff looks great. Need to find out what they use and get that camera. Because I'm just using a Logitech 1080p. So a camera along with that mixer thingy where I can zoom in and out is what I need to have. I kind of nailed it when I sprayed this guy's highlights on his face. He looks good. I haven't looked at chat in a bit. I'll check it in a second. Stand by. Sometimes if I overdo it with the wash, I will just use my finger and wipe it off real quick.
No, it's his. I killed him. thought it was Christmas. I used back in Christmas when I got it. It's like really rare. I don't know what happened. Why is my ability just super jump now? Why are my abilities rotating?
I do everyone exactly the same. I work my way up and down. That way I don't miss stuff. Finishing like with this hand guard here. 2 more, then I'll do a little searching. I don't like this one where the arm crosses it over his chest. I don't know why. I don't like it. I'm taking a little less time on each of them now. Just trying to get them done.
Bro, it was literally really unlocking done in front of your face.
By the way, I do happen to love talking about music, lyrics, and interpretations and meaning, and one of my things. A band that's great for that is like Pink Floyd, because their lyrics are so multi-layered. There's so much going on in those songs that it's never what it really seems at first. And on top of that, they use a lot of like 60s, 70s English slang. The Beatles did too, actually. So like you really have to kind of figure out what it is they're talking about sometimes. Yeah, this guy, I forgot a couple of these models. I missed the highlight here with the gray on that hand plate. It's such. Okay, one more. Then I'll take an eye break. Sometimes I'm not a huge fan of like the raised details on some of the armor pieces because they kind of break my flow with the shading. They push the brush up. All right. Okay, let's take a little break.
Bro.
10 more. That's half. Plus 2 from the other day. 8 more.
Okay, bro, that's impossible to see that bottom.
Okay, so it looks like Shaded Thorns. Audio was gone?
Bro, it's the ones that get it out, like, 8 minutes ahead. Yeah, just not.
Are you hearing now? Are we good? The Datalorian, nice. I like that. Let me check YouTube. No one's there yet. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at some of these things. So what I really need is like a. Oh yeah, that's like a. Oh, 3. A little high. Digital mic. Yeah, that would not really work for my needs. Though I guess I could use it like a ladybug, which I have at school. Um, Logitech Reach. Yeah, I think Kevin actually shared this with me as well. Jesus, $350. Sticker shock. Yeah. So like but definitely like the value of this as like a third camera would be for me to be able to pop it under the. What's going on? Things are happening. The page reloaded. Oh, another ad. So I gotta look at that because there shouldn't be that many ads popping up.
Other thing I want to play.
You're right, man. 350
Rare.
should not shock me. Just waiting for the ad to go away. I'm not sure. People in the chat may or may not be a sub.
Water pressure that you can get just a pass that chest on the ground. If you open it, you get an artifact jump scares and get that.
Yeah, so I guess what I need, I definitely should get myself one of those super macro cameras.
Yeah, artifacts.
But I do need just a better overall general use camera. Maybe if I clean up my space area here and laid in a. Oh no! Oh, oh no! You ordered multiple sets of those blood angels, and your wife got them before you did. Oh no! Say it isn't so. Thankfully, I don't have that problem. Are you still paying for it? It's been like what, a week now, right? I imagine you'll be suffering for that for a bit. I bought 2. I need to break open the other one because I wanted all the Marines in there. So I need to, but I'm gonna sell off the other stuff, the book and the cards and the characters and the Brutalis. So I guess I have to go and create a listing on like Marketplace or something. Oh, okay, that's good. Well, you are a nerd, man. You're watching an old dude paint toys on Twitch. Yes, as you should have. The Emperor protects. Oh God. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, look at all the most successful people. They are nerds. Nerds are successful. Okay. So I got 8 more here. 8 more to do the shade. My eyes are on fire right now. Yeah, man. Gotta represent oldness. So other things I've used for shading in the past. Dee Dee's Magic Ink, which
But it's not a fat ass.
it's it's an ink, which means if you look at the dried ink, it has a really gloss finish, which I'm not a huge fan of. I kind of like the Dee Dee's ink. I spilled half this thing too at one point. It's gone, but you don't want something shiny in the recessed areas because then it creates highlight in there. You know, the actual real light reflects off that shininess and kind of ruins the effect of your highlights and your shadows. So you really got to hit it with matte varnish afterwards. I do kind of like it because it's easier. It kind of fills easier. It runs easier. It's more fluid, but it's you know, something you might want to try at some point. And so I've kind of gotten away from using Dee Dee's Magic Ink. I'm just giving my eyes a break. So yeah. In case you haven't seen, I've been ranting about that for a while now. And yes, I agree with you that it's the cheapest way to get those assault marines, and I had need for them all. So which is the only reason why I really even bought into that box set, because yes, I needed the 2 characters, and I needed all of the assault marines in 2 full box sets. So there's that. Especially if I can recoup some of that investment by selling off the extra stuff from one of the box sets.
I found a pile of food on the ground next to it.
Where did my codex even go? I don't even know where it went. Yeah, I have a magnifying glass that I have. This thing. But oh, hold on, let's see. I'm gonna try and paint one with this. This should be interesting. If you see me kind of pass out, call 911. My son would be here freaking out. Oh. Can you see? Look at this. Whoa. That doesn't really show anyway, and it's so dusty. All right, this takes a special kind of focus here. That wash over there. I can't do this. Yeah, I have no touch this close.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
I can't do it. See, I just hit, I in my eyes I was just touching his shoulder pad and I hit my finger instead. By the way, I don't advise licking the brush with that wash on there. It's probably not healthy. Just saying. Okay, I can't use this thing. Can't use it. That's why I got my lookers. My lookers magnify like I don't know the ratio, but they really do magnify everything up to, but it's set at 11 inches away or 12. So I have to be super close when I use them. And if I look away at all, everything is messed up. What is floating in there? there's something floating in my wash. It looks organic. Should I investigate that, or should I just keep on licking the wash? I just broke it up with the brush. It's never a good thing when you discover something floating in the liquid you've been licking. So, in my mind, I was just thinking about like best painted, right? So, I paint armies to win best painted. I go to tournaments, not to win the tournament, but to win best painted instead. That's my own little thing. But when you really look at my armies, like I'm not; these are not Golden Demon winners that I'm painting. Um, so my buddy used to do a seminar at like conventions called Painting the 3-Footer. Mine are a little above that. Well, probably a lot above that, but the concept is still there. My models won't really hold up under Golden Demon level scrutiny for paint score, but definitely on a table as a whole, they stand out. And I've kind of mastered the technique of painting the 3-Footer, an army that looks beautiful on a table. So if you're aspiring to win or do well in like a painting competition, start with that. Learn to paint the 3-Footer. Let me check chat. Hi, Miss Johnson. Thank you for following. Hold on, let me review all the chat here. Did you hear my accent come out? No, I'm not Canadian, but I grew up on the Canadian border, upstate New York, like half an hour from Montreal. So if you just noticed my Canadian accent, good ears. We might have met at Games Day. There was one year where I set up a table with Fritz, and we took on all comers that day. Played everybody that wanted to get a game against us. That was one of my most rewarding days in ever.
No.
You guys who are popping in, are you popping in because you found me painting Warhammer on Twitch through the Warhammer extension? Because I just switched to that heading.
16. Could be the wrong
Hi, Miss Johnson.
one.
I wish I was at your friend's farm. Sounds like an infinitely better place than Connecticut. I was going to say Quebec, because now I have Montreal on the mind.
Oh god, thank you, thank you. Get to a safe spot. Alright, I'm in the SS. I found SS.
If you're all just popping in, I'm painting. I'm doing shading on my Death Company now, using an old GW wash called Badab Black to lay in a very light,
Oh, I found
pinpointed level of highlight or of shade
Shut up.
to certain areas.
North one. That's it for the way there. Oh, shut up. Ooh, BSS. Viewers gained.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, yeah, because someone else had mentioned I should switch because I had it. I just hadn't bothered to switch off from the
The sound of death.
switch off from the previous title I had, which was Space Marine 2. I just left that on there when I started up my stream. So if you found me that way, then I was an original YouTuber, Jawaballs. So you probably encountered me through that at some point. I kind of fell away from the hobby for several years due to personal stuff in life, which is wanting to happen. And made my way back at the end of ninth edition. And I painted up a new army and went to a GT at the end, a Battle for Salvation GT, and actually won Best Painted. My glorious return, and that kind of hooked me back into things. Best Painted Army, 2022.
Greenhouse. I think that's a good for all colors.
It was it was a really beautiful honor to have such an award coming back.
Is it an SS or a PSS?
So make sure you hit that follow button if you're just getting here. You'll get a dancing Jawa.
Bro, this might flash and I just found.
So yeah, I think it was Rancor. Oh, hold on. Antiques is not a functioning farm anymore, but they sold some of the land to the water company, so it's solitary open land for acres and acres. Yeah. Where is this farm? I wish I had a farm like nearby that I could just go to. I would love like a little cabin or something. Like we have a family cabin up in the Adirondacks, but it's a 5.5, 6 hour drive or more, depending on traffic. Especially this time of year with the leaf peepers going through the Adirondacks. It can take a good amount of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would love that kind of space just to get out and walk around. I do enjoy that level of nature.
I don't remember. Okay.
Did you find me here as well, Miss Johnson, through the Warhammer tag? Or did you find me from some other? A lot of people that pop in here rediscovered me through YouTube. There's always a couple that come back.
I meant endorphin.
They get notifications from 10 years ago, from when they were signed up. And it's always great to see those old friends return. I gotta say, it's been really just rewarding to be back in general. I didn't realize how much I missed this because the helping people, the it's kind of like a high. It really is, which is why teachers do it, I guess. The feeling of satisfaction that we get from helping someone overcome something.
It's a lot like skeletons on the side. Like fossils.
I ate bacon for breakfast. Sorry, Dr. Centillis. I have 10 days. I have to go see Dr. Centillis and report. And so now I'm going to actually be a good boy for 10 days. And, I got to go and get the blood sugar done and all that old person stuff. Triglycerides. Start now, young friends. Start now. Don't be eating like you're 18 when you're 50. Your doctor will have words with you. Oh, Northford. Northford, Connecticut? Where is Northford? Well, if you've come to the right place, if you've come looking for a new hobby, that's for sure. But understand that getting into 40K is at least like $1,000 buy-in.
Yeah, make it down the one, Sebastian.
Not at first, but to get yourself up and running, you'll end up easily before you even really get too much into armies.
Take a green tree.
Paints and brushes and equipment, all that stuff. You're looking at quite a chunk of change. I'm surrounded just my paints here in general. $5 a pot. Got to be close to $1,000 worth of paint just sitting here. But I was actually, funny you should say that, chatting with someone else on my Facebook feed today because she also was talking about getting into the hobby and how I was considering doing a series of videos here on how to get into the hobby and what to do from a newbie point of view. Because in a lot of ways, I am new again, and especially because the game itself has changed so much since the early days of Jawaballs.
I was on and like really
It's so much more complicated
absolutely loaded.
now. It's so busy. There's so much going on. Again, that a lot of that doesn't really matter if you don't play in tournaments, but I only ever play in tournaments, so it's a lot for me. Kind of learning trial by fire, playing against hardcore players. My brother saw that firsthand when I played in a tournament last year, 2023, with my Eldar army. That was a fiasco with a capital Asco. I got just obliterated. Right. Did I take smoking boots? I forget. I think I did. Last place.
It's Jock, I barely
Okay, hold on.
survived. It was
Checking
so
it.
awkward.
Yeah.
It just sucked real.
Fortunately, like if you're just getting into the hobby part of it, um, the contrast paints
Stuff.
make it very forgiving.
But like Chucky, if it was a money on the counter, I wouldn't get it. I would just.
I don't recommend, for example, if you're getting new to the hobby, I don't recommend batch painting 20 Death Company Marines at once. My eyes are burning. It's tedious, and I have to kind of get through this.
That's kind of funny for Lucky List because it's nothing for like the main 100 things I suck at it. It's a bridge, but I can't get past. Because I mean,
It
when
is.
I bridge, I mean, multiple times. I guess
I'm kind of a little bit of a masochist right now with this, but I have to get them ready because I can't play in tournaments until I have all these models painted, and I don't play unless they're like painted. I don't play them unless they're painted to a very high degree. I'm a paint snob. When I go up against dudes playing in tournaments with gray plastic. It's one thing if you're playing, in your basement with gray plastic, and I've always been of the opinion that you should not play your models unless they're painted in a tournament. And I've always been vocal about that. Basements are meant for learning how to play your models, not tournaments. So you should do your testing in your basement. And then show up to play with a painted army. How many are left over there? 2 more. Okay, I can do this. I can get through this. There's 2 left. Yeah, hold on. I'll try for you, Miss Johnson. Good morning, Matt Box. Good to see you. Yeah, contrast paints kind of did change the game a bit. They make it easier to get really nice, attractive stuff. Matt Box, I don't want to argue with 20-year-olds over rulings. Yeah, that's what judges are for. I mostly get to play. Maybe I'll paint my nails, Miss Johnson.
Alright. Get ready for later.
Yeah, so the guys are talking about sweaty players. And what they're talking about, I'm gonna take a break from my eyes for a second. I'll try and get closer to the camera for you in a second so you can see details. I think my eyes need a break. So what they're talking about sweaty players is that when you go to tournaments, you always end up running into dudes that try really hard. They go on the internet and they find a recent internet list. They usually they're like abusive and make use of obscure rules that may or may not work together. They've seen somebody use them on YouTube and they think that they've mastered this. So they show up at tournaments with this obscure ruling, and oftentimes they're playing with like badly 3D printed models that are proxies, usually modeled to take advantage of said weirdness. I encountered a Black Templars player once. He was playing. This is ninth edition, playing the Centurions back when they were really, really nasty, and he was playing Centurions that were at least 3/4 of an inch taller than regular Centurions, which enabled him to see over stuff that he should not have been. Anyway, so just an example, and his army was based around those Centurion models,
I know them.
and
Yeah,
neckbeards and
yeah, I got one of those where it's like four. It was like
nice.
four different patterns to go into.
So
Next, it was like a little like staircase, it was like the metal staircase.
he
So
I'll wait. I'll wait till the ad ends.
I'm on this guy here for a second. Wait.
So many popping up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I knocked that down to just 3 minutes per hour. And I'm watching just to get a sense of the ads. I watched through my secondary account.
Right. Yeah, and like only one pen loaded in 0 to 100, and one pen loaded for ready. So that's pen loaded done.
Okay, we're back. Audio test. Sound works. Sound test. I know one time the sound dropped. See, now we get this weirdness. Sound test. All right, good. Yeah, so back to the sweat. So so like that example where the guy had these 3D printed Centurion proxies that he was playing, which were easily almost an inch taller than regular Centurions. Um, he had this thing he was using with a weird combination of powers from the Black Templars, and they allowed him to create this super squad, which was really, really hard to kill. And he had an apothecary, which healed them and brought them back to life. And it was just extraordinarily hard to kill. And after swinging away at that unit, I managed to kill it. And he had said earlier in the game that he had this. His intentions were to resurrect the models with his apothecary, the one that caused all the hard stuff. There was a special model in there that had a piece of war gear that I finally killed, and he forgot to resurrect it that turn. So it switched to my turn, and I'm playing and doing stuff, and I go all the way to my shooting, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot to do it." I'm like, "Oh well," you know. I didn't let him, and the dude got so angry. We're talking turned red, got mad, calling me a poor sport, and like started becoming extremely passive aggressive, smacking the chess clock because you play with a clock, and like just sputtering mad because I didn't let him fix a bad mistake he made. So that's an example of a sweat, a try hard. Because he was first of all he was playing against me, and if you're playing against me, like in the fourth round of a tournament, you ain't gonna win a tournament. You are not in contention to win if you're up against Jawaballs at this point. So go easy, you know. Oh, I almost just knocked over my wash. So that's an example of a sweaty player, a tryhard. And yeah, those are not all that fun when you run into those guys in tournaments. People with like one-trick pony armies that like orc armies designed around Overwatch. That's all they do is Overwatch. Yeah, it was that he was playing. There was like a weird combination that Black Templars had at that time where you could take all their free war gear and stuff, like lots of it, relics, I guess. And he was using one that one of the models had all this stuff that made the unit of Centurions really hard to kill. And if you did manage to kill it, that model, he just used the apothecary to bring it back, and the apothecary was just hiding. You couldn't really get to the apothecary, so it was definitely, it was legal, but it was cheaty. Not, I mean, it was what it was, but I wasn't gonna let him undo a mistake he made and just put that really annoying stuff back on the table when he forgot to follow his own rules.
But I got a save room, but of course it
You
had to
know,
be
I'll
like
let people
right after the longest possible.
undo stuff or
And then the more
fix
I told it, the
mistakes
more picky. But yeah,
in timing, especially if it's still within the same turn and it's an easy do over. But we had already moved past my movement and into my shooting, and it wasn't until I shot that unit, the remainders of it, that he remembered that he forgot to bring the guy back,
they were actually going so
and he
fast.
wanted to do it. And then he told me that he had declared his intentions of doing that,
Sometimes you like slow as hell.
which I don't know how that became a thing all of a sudden in gaming in 40K. But just because you declare your intentions to do something, it doesn't mean it just automatically happens when that instance comes up. You still have to do it. You got to take the time it takes to make sure it happens. You can't declare your intentions to. And my friend John does this. He'll explain his intention is to spread his models around so that they've taken up all the space in the backfield, so you can't deep strike. And well, I'm like, that's fine, but measure them all. I know you intend to do that, but make sure you're measuring it and placing them all. Because if you're placing
But if it was angry,
30 orcs
you know,
per squad, and that takes time, and that's the problem with orcs in tournaments. And I make people time them just because that's their punishment for playing orcs. I really dislike orcs, so I make them move every model and measure it and use up their time. I know what their intention is. It's my intention to make them suffer. Yeah, I used to be concerned with sportsmanship awards. Like I used to try, but no. Like you really can't. Like I used to be highly competitive, and I still kind of am. But you really can't do that and win sportsmanship. Maybe you can. Maybe I'm just too much of a jerk. Maybe that's it. But I'm not a bad sport, but you know, it's hard. Okay, so the wash is done. I did it. That was a hard one because that one took a lot of attention. Oh, Miss Johnson, if you're still there, my advice: if you are looking to get into a hobby like this, go to the Warhammer website and look through all their stuff and find models that speak to you. You know, just pick what looks good. The first model. No, I'm not. I'm not. Really, I'm not. In most cases, I will always allow people to undo mistakes and fix stuff, and I'll just ignore when they're loose on like measuring and the rules, and I don't allow people. I don't like people that kind of conveniently forget their rules, especially if I know their rules. I've seen people doing that where they try to get away with stuff by accident, in quotes. So I'll definitely call them out on that stuff. I was playing an orc player, and I didn't know this the first time I encountered him in a tournament. He was using all the special rules that orcs have during Overwatch, and there's a update or there's a rule where you can't do that, like hitting on fives, instead of sixes. I know if you don't know the game, you don't know what I'm talking about, but so he was still using all of his little special rules and just blowing me off the table with Overwatch. And then he tried to do it again the next time I encountered him, and I was like, why are you hitting on fives?" He was like, "Oh," and he knew what he was doing. He knew that because this was like his third game in the tournament, and I'm sure that someone else called him on that, and he played like he didn't know. And I was like, "Yeah,
Shocking.
like that is naughty pants.
That game's not inside.
Can't do that." Or like the guys that
And I somehow survived.
roll
I
dice
just crouched.
as I'm looking in my codex for a rule,
Survived, bro.
and then pick it up real quick. And I'm like, "What'd you roll?" Because at first he, like one dude did this, and he needed like he pretended that he rolled a six. I'm like, "I need to see it. What'd you roll?" He's like, "Oh well." Then he rolled it again. I'm like, "No." Oh, okay. Quick lesson: Overwatch. So Overwatch is a special rule that you can put in place at pretty much any time. So what it means is he has a unit of guys that have really powerful guns, and if I move my little powerful unit into range at the end of my movement, he can choose to shoot them, like out of turn. It's called out of sequence. So he spends a point, and he can shoot that squad at my unit for free, and just when they're not supposed to shoot. And usually, the units that can do this have really powerful, nasty guns. So basically, on his turn, he would shoot one of my units with that squad and just destroy them. Then on my turn, if I moved a squad into range, he'd shoot them with Overwatch and just kill them. So he was killing every game turn like two of my best units with a single squad. So Overwatch, it's important because it allows you to act out of phase, so out of turn, and that's all. That's the game now, doing things out of turn. So it's frustrating because then you can't move up without your guys getting just blown off the table.
Then milliseconds over ago, like she's already having an answer. And then she was like fast as hell.
Yeah. So the game,
Alright, come on.
the game itself, it's extremely complicated to try to break it down and how it's played. But in case you don't know anything about it, every model has a unique set of abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. So these guys that I'm painting, for example,
I really saw
are really fast. And by that I mean when you move them, a regular model, this red dude, he can move 6 inches. So I get a ruler and I put it down and I measure 6 inches. Here, look. Here's a race. You here? So I'll measure him 6 inches, and there he goes. So these guys can move 12 inches. So just to give you the frame of reference, when he moves to here. So right off the screen there, right behind me. So that's just one quick example of the different strengths and weaknesses. The Blood Angels, the guys I'm painting right now, have jump packs, which allow them to go really far. So you move your models based on what they can do. Then when it's your turn, the shooting phase, the next turn, they have different guns. The Death Company don't all they have is pistols. They don't have a lot of shooting that they can do. Some models do have a lot of shooting with their weapons. How is what legal? The Overwatch or the moving? So so you play tanks that have long range guns. That some are built for anti infantry, some are built for anti tank. So ideally you want an army that has a lot of fast stuff, a lot of stuff that can shoot, and you play. So these guys, as you can see, they have a sword and a pistol, which means they're meant to fight in assault. They hit things, and these particular models, the Death Company, are really good at that. So yeah, these are fearful. They're very scary on the table. And so you roll your dice to figure out what they do. And there's modifiers that are positive and negative. Once you've figured out the modifiers, you figure out what you need to roll, and you roll your die. If you need a 5 and you roll a 5, you hit, or you do damage. Well, it is legal, and that's the Overwatch thing. It's a new edition, 10th edition. It's a new thing where it used to be much more difficult to do in the past, and now it's a big part of the game, and you can only do it once per turn, and but if you have the right unit that does it, a lot of units are better at it than others. Blood Angels don't really have a unit that can do it very well, except for a couple of tanks that they have, which I'm not using currently in my army. But orcs have just shooty dudes that aren't very good when they normally shoot, but in Overwatch, that doesn't matter. Yeah, well, yeah, you have to have the command points. Yeah, this is it's a what I need to do is just make a series of videos for you, Miss Johnson, that kind of show this. It's way too much for me to get into through a painting conversation. What's how to do the game? So I should probably just do a series of introductory videos into what 40K is all about. I'm giving you only the very tip of the iceberg in this conversation, just to get you a sense of what the game is. Yeah. So there's command points. Every turn you get a command point. So you'll have like 4 or 5 points, usually at best, and then you can use them. So once per turn, you can use one of your command points to Overwatch, and yeah. But it doesn't matter when you're overwatching things that are you're just killing stuff. But the thing that you have to watch that is you can't use any special rules when you overwatch. You can't modify much, which is what people do, and you have to watch them. So yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna start. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll start just doing a series, how to play 40K streaming, from my point of view, which still is fairly fresh to 10th edition. I relearned how to play the game in 2022, at the end of 2022. And it was a whole new game for me, because I had been out of it for quite a while. Okay, so next step is well, red X's on their shoulders. Yeah, I think that's going to happen. How to play 40K. Because it is kind of growing in popularity, especially because, with the discussions with Henry Cavill. I'm not sure what's going on with that TV series they're supposed to be doing, but if you look at the character in Space Marine, they kind of animated him to look like Henry Cavill. In case you don't, now you'll never gonna see that. So, all right. So, red X's or bone angel wings? Red X's require more attention. My eyes are kind of burning right now, so I'm going to go with bone. I use Wraith Bone. Right out of the pot. It's thick. It's not cut down. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Titus. And if you look at the game, he looks like Henry Cavill. They use his likeness for sure. An older, beat up. Because in the game, he's like 400 years old. But there's been like a lot of production issues. I'm not even sure what's happening. I haven't really followed the story. All right, so now I paint this on pretty thick. I use a lot of paint on my brush, which I don't ever do, and I just kind of move it around until it's all kind of laid in. Spread out. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. I wish I had a better way. Maybe Santa will gift me one of those super macro cameras. So I'll paint the angel wings on his chest with this, and I did not take any time. I just put it on there. It's a mess. It looks terrible, but in the end, it'll look a lot better when I put the contrast paint on top of that. Oh, I can't see. I don't have my lookers on. So yeah, Miss Johnson, that's gonna happen. I am going to do a series of how to play 40K. So the first one will be picking your army. I did one years ago. When I got by that I mean 16 years ago. Way back when I first started. And I talked about picking your models and how to do it and what I did. And, so maybe it's time to do another. The first model that I bought was actually a tank, a Vindicator tank. I just loved it. It looked so cool. It had a big dozer blade on it and a cool looking little cannon. Badass tank. I keep touching other parts of the model because I am kind of going too fast on this. Oh, well, thank you, Miss Johnson. That's a very nice compliment.
Yeah, when I was pen buttons, you have to move it razor off of the model or
Well, let me move my mic so I can read here. I'll be a very good boy. RT, what is that, Matt Box? But it would definitely be awesome to have that set, like that macro camera set up, so I could do exactly what you want, like show the fine details.
I'm just gonna look at Oculus.
I used to catch a lot of hell on YouTube for painting like this, using thick paint right out of the pot. But my answer would always be like,
Oh yeah.
I understand what you're saying, buddy, but how many best painted have you won?
Uh-huh.
And what could they say? Because even though I'm unorthodox and I paint from the pot with thick paint,
Are you okay?
I managed to win awards and all that. So obviously, I'm doing something right. Looking for skulls.
Oh god.
Oh, you're old school. I went to a GW store and said this was so cool. They sat me down and gave me a model. One guy named Dan started teaching me how to paint. We're painting my first model.
Oh.
I love that. The GW guy babysat you. Normally, I do not advise to paint like this, by the way. Those guys were right for a lot of reasons. You should thin your paints. And you should not use a ton of paint. And whenever I teach painting, I definitely tell you to always go with the least amount of paint you can get away with on your brush. Because it's always better and easier to add more, and you can never get it off once it's on. Well, you can, but it's just easier to add more than it is to take it off. An additive versus a subtractive process. So I subscribe to the additive process by adding more, painting in thin layers, and building up my paint, which is the way to go. If you ever painted like a watercolor or anything, you always work in thin layers. By the way, I'm an art teacher. I taught art for 17 years. Now I teach computer science, but so a lot of the theory that you're hearing come out of me is stuff I've been teaching for years.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any more skulls on this. He had a skull on his shoulder pad I had to paint. Well, thank you, Matt. Yeah. Well, I was talking to a friend about she collects art, and I was talking about she had asked me what I do for art, if any. I have a BFA and a Bachelor of Fine Art, and I really haven't done any traditional art in decades because this is my art. This is where I put my creative attention. But also art teachers, we're not artists. We don't sit around in our painting studio. Maybe some do, but in general, our energy goes into our kids. And I guess that's teachers in general. So my creative, my artistic energy gets consumed by the kids in my classroom. They eat it up. So when I walk out of my classroom, I'm just drained. And that's always been the case. But getting into 40K years ago, back in like 2016, kind of allowed me that creative output. God, the ads. There is a lot of ads popping up. I have to check those settings. So that allowed me
How big?
the creative. And then I started painting. I started painting uh, like stuff on my tanks, like angel wings and skulls, which no one was really doing at the time. So I started showing up at tournaments with all these beautiful tanks covered with angel wings that I painted by hand. And
Uh, flip, flip, flip. I did open it.
does after the ads, does everything I said during the ad kind of play all of a sudden? Does it now have me like in a delay, or do you just miss the things that I do during the ad?
Mr. G.
Oh, made a mess.
Light. Light.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's not the answer people like to hear, but if you don't want to see the ads, subscribe. Use that free Amazon subscription you have. Yeah, I just totally made a mess of that arm. I'm going to have to fix that.
Yeah, but after.
Thanks, Dadalorian, for coming.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, gotta pay the bills. Those power bills, man. Almost $400 a month for electricity. And oh, I can't think of it. You know what? I didn't realize that I misaligned my camera, so I was kind of off camera just now painting. Sorry for that. There we go.
Light goes on and off and on and off.
Yeah, those banners, yes, you're right. They were my art for a while. I haven't done one in years. And I love it when I go places and I see one of my Jawa banners there. That makes me happy. Or I saw one, I don't know, I think I was watching like a stream. And that dude had one of my Jawa banners, like in the background of his stream. Like a YouTube video. Could be wrong, but it looked like one of mine. I don't remember. I was looking for information on the release. Yeah, this guy's got 3 skulls. All right, so I guess I have to put in place. So I'll have to do a little research and come up with like a little curriculum. I can't wing it. I need to figure out a plan. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll get over on my other computer and I'll set up a stream and where I use my computer as one of my feeds, and I'll just kind of look at stuff and talk about stuff.
Alright, time to brew.
as an intro.
I think we're.
Because I guess if you just go to the GW website, it's a little overwhelming.
I have a bump controller on my lap right now. On the phone.
But if you have someone that can kind of help explain
If you get worried,
the lore of what you're looking at as you're looking at it,
get hot.
that might be helpful.
But like, I'll have this. Like, I have this. When I have this, I'm not yet.
So I'll do that.
I'm not ahead of that. I'm not getting ahead of this.
I'm not going to be able to do my hobby night this week because I have open house that night.
Alright, land your spot. Don't get true power until after the end.
So Miss Johnson, you said Northford. Is that Connecticut, Northford? Are you local? I know someone from Ridgefield that found me, and he popped in. I said hi from Ridgefield. And again, I'm just kind of laying this paint in thick because it doesn't really matter. It's a base paint. It's a base color, which are usually their heavy pigments. They're intended to be a first layer. And so long as it's not thickly filling in details, it's okay. And then I'm going to give it a good hit with the contrast paint over the top of it. And that will fix a lot of the messiness. My glasses keep sliding down my face. In fact, my super fine detail brush is not the best tool for this even. I need a different brush that has stiffer bristles. The bristles on this brush are very soft and they flow. So yeah, so that first show I'll be talking about a loose kind of synopsis of the hobby itself. And I'll look at Warhammer website. And I'll talk about the lore and all the different armies and stuff. And kind of my favorites of all the different armies. Stuff that looks good. You guys can still hear me, right? Okay.
It's three words. It's three words. You're all in one.
Yeah, so Matt, I switched over to the Warhammer tag from Space Marine 2. And like 2 or 3 people have popped in and followed because of that. I had no idea. I guess people are just kind of searching Warhammer in Twitch, and this pops up.
Alright, yeah, alright, okay, I can see like a phone on it and a sphere if you're able to get over there. It's like yeah. Wait, did that push this way?
This really does hurt my soul painting like this because it looks so terrible at first. Yeah, I changed the tag. It's really hard for me to let this look terrible, but it'll pay off. My brother again. I guess he really wants to talk to me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not out there. In the horde, bro.
Let me send him a text. Well, thank you. The voice is a well-practiced thing.
What is this 100 guy doing? This is 100 that has to line up like die check and take over that near it. Yeah, go to the barn. Go to the barn quick.
Just checking up on communications here. My phone's full of stuff now.
Yeah, but I'm useless.
All right.
If I'm this base, I can't do anything. Get to the barn, get to the barn.
Yeah, so you'll see me. I'm a brush licker.
Alright. Oh, yeah, but
I don't know how many pots of paint over the years I've consumed by licking them off my brush, but and I'm pretty sure I'm giving myself cancer. So there's 6 more to do before I move on to the next step. So the voice is definitely practiced. It's something I've worked on for years. The teacher voice.
Yeah, they don't. Get out, kids.
I guess part of it I've always had, which kind of allowed me to be good at teaching.
Kill them, Chucky. You have to slap him in there, and then if he tries leaving, I'll just get him.
My son rolls his eye at my voice because he knows when he's hearing it, he did something wrong.
Got him. Six.
And usually, whenever I talk to him about something like that,
Six.
the conversation ends with, "Hey, you're free to do with or do whatever you want.
Oh
I can't force you to do anything. But good luck finding your Xbox controller tomorrow."
Six.
And that always works.
2. 6292.
Not that my son's a bad boy. He's amazing.
Okay, I'm just. Okay, you should have ran, bro. Okay, Chucky. It's not even hard to see, bro. Not even getting mad at it, so. Okay, mind.
One of these days I'm going to pop into his, maybe I'll stream it. I'll pop into one of his games. Yes, I'll stream that.
Every time.
Nerdy old man invades his son's
And then after like
Fortnite group.
Yeah, and then trying to
Hey, the table's edge. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Did you find me through the Warhammer tag or through my YouTube channel? Because I just added the Warhammer tag today for the first time. And a couple of people have already found me because of it. So, what I'm going to do to, because I've been really sloppy with these angel wings on the chests, is I'm going to go over after I've put on the skeleton bone wash, very precisely with my detail brush, lay in some Black Templar contrast to cover up some of the sloppiness. Or just more of the Badab Black wash. I'm not doing that one on his power fist. Welcome back.
Like anytime something's just always in on it.
Welcome back. Hit that follow, smash that follow button. I love saying that to the kids. When I give them assignments through our Google Classroom.
There's like a whole horde laying in the shack. What is that?
I always tell them to be sure to submit your assignment and smash that follow button.
You want to be mine, bro? Alright, I got a picture of the thing. I also got the strength brew and ball essence. Bro, like the entire lobby got a picture of it, bro. Why so much fiends? Yeah, man. Go ahead, Darn.
Oh, so I am officially the esports coach now for my high school where I teach. The first esports team for our school. That should be a lot of fun. So I'll share for those of you that care about such things. I don't know if I can even, because we will be streaming, but I probably can't even share it with you, kids and all.
Bro, this guy's is literally Sonic.
Because like I actually kind of narrate, and I do what I'm doing right now as the kids are playing. Like I have one of the kids that actually knows what's going on because they're playing like Smash Brothers. I don't know that game, so I'll have one of those kids sit with me, and I'll just kind of color commentary while he plays play by play. It's fun. Because we have a television production class. So a lot of kids in there are going to be doing this for a living.
Bro, look at all these people, bro.
Probably streaming on YouTube, making $1 million like Mr. Beast, or $1 billion. So anyway, so like I'm kind of teaching them how to do it subtly. I just make them sit with me, and what I do is I just kind of keep the banter like this. I just keep the conversation going. So there's no real lulls, which is, I guess, is the job of the color commentator anyway.
Okay.
But
Stop.
so I'll ask leading questions to get them to kind of explain what's going on in the games.
Yeah, just run out. None.
It's amazing how much knowledge they have.
Bro, they're just being weird. Run.
Oh, so you missed all of that conference. So I had asked you where Northford is. Was it Connecticut or like England?
Watch out. Quick, climb up. Oh, there's a portal now. Bro. Alright, just run. The entire server needs to be here, bro. Like, I know it, bro, but these kids are fucking annoying. Don't let anyone in. Don't. Oh, got Storm. Run.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like painting these chest wings at all. It's just a tedious detail.
Hey, buddy, I kind of want your soul for some HP.
Which is why I don't use the molded ones
Dude.
that have the angel wings on them. I use the
Bro,
decals.
he's a portal user, bro. Okay, what is he doing? Don't, camp portal. He's gonna try and... Okay. Oh my god.
You probably hear my son over there. Oh, and of course this guy has something in front of his chest, so it's gonna make it harder.
I'm trying to organize my inventory, bro, but I can't because this portal user is being annoying. God, alright, I got out. Now I need to organize my inventory, bro. Bro, get out.
Oh, I didn't notice if I think it was Daddy Mandalorian
Dude, get out, Bacon.
had asked if I was Canadian.
Just leave
I don't
that,
think
bro.
he
This is
responded
continuing.
when I asked him how he got tipped off to my upstate New York heritage. I wonder. I must have said something that sounded very Canadian. I do sound like a Canadian.
3 cubes of ice, trip power, apple and egg, first aid kit.
When I first started teaching, I had to like learn how to
Yeah, the other thing I did.
clean up my accent.
The portal users did the portal outside and got everybody out of the bug so we can go in there. Because Storm is being annoying if he was.
Because the kids were like, "What? What?" It was on Long Island.
Oh.
Because up where I'm from,
I had to play her annihilate.
the accent is a mixture of like French and English. A lot of the words is more slang, and
Just got like
but
like
the way we talk
7 slaps in a row.
is like we emphasize points by having our tone of voice go up and down, which is usual, but ours is very different. We make a point by raising our voice and then it drops down. So to hear me talk, like when I go up there especially, you'll hear my voice go up and down. Then it'll finish with that roundness at the end of it. And that's my accent. It's the craziest thing, right? Jawa accent. But I've done a pretty good job over the years of covering it up. If you want, I can do a show totally in Jawa accent. Well, where I'm at, it's not like that. Where I'm at, it's if you go out towards Boston, you get the Boston accent, but or if you're closer to New York, it's that New York accent. But Connecticut doesn't really have an accent. But Yeah, you would need a translator probably if you went up to upstate New
Bro,
York,
this cobbler guy is almost dead.
especially if you're hanging out like in a bar, like with all the locals, or if you were hanging out with me in a bar with the locals, because I devolve, I regress when I'm up there. All right, so now I'm using a contrast paint called Skeleton Horde, and this I'm just laying on over all the angel wings, and it just kind of sets into the recesses, and it's nice because it really does a good job at providing that value, that transition from light to dark, which kind of creates shading, which is why it's here. So even though it's a contrast paint, I use it as a shade.
As per usual. The usual this game just doesn't flat.
I wish you could see that as well as I can because it just came out perfect just now. Let's see.
Okay, now that's straight up hacking because he's slapping me. Yeah, I slapped it. That is straight up hacking.
No, also,
Don't please don't. Okay, what's this whole doing? Die.
you relaxing, Jawa boy? I don't know what that means.
Yes, get out of here, bro. That was weird, bro. Yeah, I know. Alright, I'm kind of like out of items now that I use long because he had to slap me storming when I slapped him. Like, it's not possible to do that, but just did anyways. It just felt like it. Yeah, but the good thing needs to be stopped before it's too late because he's really sweaty, bro.
Was it me talking like an animated Canadian that you're talking about? Did I get a little too crazy?
That's how it feels sometimes when you're fighting back with you did when it's really got the Indian Olympics.
When I do my red blood angels, I do the same kind of thing, but I use Uthuan gray, which is a very white gray, very very light gray, and then there's a contrast paint called Apothecary White, which is kind of like a gray, and I'll put that over the top of the Uthuan gray. And that looks really good.
Oh, this guy got jailed. Snooze.
I think it was Miss Johnson who said that she'd like to see some of my work. I don't really have any. I have some. I lost a lot of my stuff in a flood. My portfolio of work.
Do not stand next to that portal. That's the portal that brings you right to the jail cell. That's a
Yeah, my accent.
jail cell.
I was doing it on purpose. I wanted you to hear my accent. You have. Oh, so you've got some Canadian.
No, why did they haul that portal?
So you know. So you've heard the accent. You know what it sounds like. It's a lot like the movie Fargo, except it's not slow. In Fargo, it's very similar, the Fargo accent. But it's like the opposite when it comes to the speed. Theirs is very slow and drawn out. Meanwhile, mine is rapid. And a lot of the words tend to kind of become one. Like something to eat. Hey, can I have something to eat? Would be, hey, can I have something to eat? Hey. Hey, can I have something to eat? And that's how it is.
The one that my portals. Stop it, frog. No, 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 no. Oh my. Are you kidding me? I glitched onto the map. Oh my god, bro. Screw this. What are these rats, bro? Oh no. Bro, I'm like stuck under the map too. I can't get out. Bro, portal. Annoying. Get it, Chucky. Go to the ocean, Chucky. Go to the ocean.
Welcome back.
And like, of course, whenever me and only me go into the portal, I get sent under the ground.
That seems to be like way more than 3 minutes per hour
Only me
that are
gets sent
popping
under the
up.
ground, no one else. Just me. Bro.
How many hours?
Give me that. Like, can you...
Oh, I've been on for 2.5 hours.
Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I was saying about how
I mean, if there's some another portal, if I can find it,
we tend to talk extremely fast up there. And that does work its way into my
all I
accent,
do is just like try and help like sound.
especially when I'm excited about something. You'll hear it come out.
This frog is so annoying, bro. I hear the portal. I don't think I'll be able to get to it though.
So I won't have to really touch the bones again. The contrast skeleton horde leaves a nice enough effect. I used to have to hand paint them all with layers of bone color, but
Oh, I think
this contrast paint really does a good job,
bro, it should be banned.
so that I can batch paint these models quickly with this and not have to really worry about
Bro. Here, Chalky, come here. Wait, no, you can't come here because stupid giant bear here.
all the layering of paint. Which is great because I have so much other stuff to do. I don't want to spend all my time layering bone details. So since some of you in here are new, contrast paints are a new product from Games Workshop. They're kind of like in between a wash and a paint. A paint is an emulsion. It's
I kill them all. I kill them all.
a suspension, in this case acrylic, which is liquid plastic, with a binder and a pigment, powdered color. So acrylic paint, basically when that binder kind of dissolves, I'm kind of generalizing, but it leaves behind just a plastic with flecks of color in it.
Like they're genuinely annoying.
And so what that does is, oh, my little spot is drying up on me here. So then you modify the level of suspension, the level of binder or fluid in the paint to make it thinner or thicker. That's what turpentine does when you're painting your walls or whatever, paint thinner. So in this case, you would use water to kind of break the surface tension of the paint, to allow the paint to kind of fill in the details without gathering up too thick. But what GW did is they have this contrast paint, which is like a thin down paint. So you paint whatever you want to paint, like white or a light color. Then you put the contrast paint kind of over that color, and it does the job for you of the painting and the shading and even the highlighting. It builds up really nicely in the recessed areas, kind of creating that transition from dark to light up into the highlight. So, and it works pretty well, surprisingly well to me. So I've actually bought into several of the contrast colors. So when you're painting miniatures in general, you want to make sure you've broken the paint to break the surface tension to allow it to easily flood into the details, which is where I get criticized because I don't do that very much. I don't usually water down my paints. I've moved on to painting with airbrush paint, which is very thinned out paint. But in general, I paint with so little paint on my brush that it's not a problem with it being too thick. And I use a lot of my own spit. My brush is always loaded with spit. So maybe that's it. Jawa spit. Okay, hold on. Yeah. There, see? Miss Johnson, you're learning fast, Miss Johnson. You already got it. Yeah, I did some modeling for a guy some time ago, and I actually cut myself by accident, and I just mixed in with the paint. It was really blood red. All right, so I finished the bone, and now honestly, they're really close to getting ready for the final touch. So I have to. I'm gonna paint the guns and the swords with. I'm gonna airbrush them red. Then I have to one more highlight of gray to do on the edges, and then the eyes are blue, and the X's on their shoulder pads. The X indicates Death Company, so all Death Company have an X on them, a red X. So those are going to be red. So Death Company, they're Blood Angels, and Blood Angels are one of the founding chapters of Space Marines. And their Primarch, their leader, upon which all of the Blood Angels were created using his gene seed, Sanguinius. There's this epic tale called the Horus Heresy, and it's when like half the Space Marines turned to chaos and attacked the other half. Surprise attack. So the loyalists fought, and they ended up winning, of course. But in the battle, Sanguinius, the Primarch of the Blood Angels, saw his future, and he saw that he was going to die to his brother Horus, who was the leader of the bad guys. So, knowing that he was going to die, he engaged him in battle anyway, the noble Sanguinius. Knowing that he had to successfully wound Horus. That's all he had to do in order for the Emperor then to step in and finish him off. So he sacrificed himself. It's called the Noble Sacrifice to Horus. And when Horus landed that death blow upon Sanguinius, it created this genetic echo in the Blood Angels from that point on, where they would degrade in their own gene seed, where some of them would give in to madness. Part of it's called the Red Thirst, where they feel this anger caused by this betrayal of Sanguinius and his noble sacrifice. So they give in to the Red Thirst and draw upon the power they get from it, which makes them stronger in combat. But some of them go too far and irrevocably become lost in time. And they see themselves as being back 10,000 years earlier in the Horus Heresy. So they think they're there fighting for Sanguinius. And there's no way to come back from it, except for one person history did. So they're called the Death Company. Their armor is painted black. They have an X on their armor to indicate that they have been lost time. And they are sent in to die in combat nobly. So that's their purpose. The Death Company are extremely strong fighters, and they go in to die in combat because it's the best death for them. I really love that about the Blood Angels. I love that noble sacrifice of Sanguinius and their noble nature. I love that resonating echo of betrayal in their story. You're going to be a Mad Hatter. I sure am. They're not soulless. That's the thing. Is that they, yes, they are like vampires. In the early version of they were more like vampires, like space vampires, like a lot more. They've kind of gotten away from that over time, but they drink the blood of Sanguinius. They have a chalice. They're called sanguinary priests, and part of becoming a blood angel is you have to drink the blood of Sanguinius, and then your body turns into from a normal human into a superhuman, along with the surgery and all that. So you're right, they are like vampires, and they had fangs early on. They kind of don't do that anymore. Only some of the models do, like Mephiston. Yeah, they kind of got away from the space vampires. I like telling the story of Sanguinius. I feel bad for Sanguinius.
You know what that means?
How he gave his life for humanity. So last time I did the angel wings, or the X's, I used corn red, which is a darker red.
Yeah, Void's actually
I'm going to use
really
my
fast,
Mephiston
really,
red
really fast.
for these guys. I think Mephiston red is one of the best reds on the market in any
Void gives
uh,
you 36.
from any product, any maker. It's a really beautiful, perfect red. Coming from a guy who's red green color deficient, that says a lot. I can see it perfectly. Maybe that's why I think it's perfect. Maybe that's why my red comes out well. But so I can see this red, and it works really well as a base color. It's like not too cool and not too warm.
There, I like all the goods there.
Yeah. Well, this pot has seen better days, that's for sure. So yeah. Yeah, this pot. You can see that this one needs a little bit more help. So what I'm going to do here is actually put some glazed medium in there. Try and save it a little bit. So glazed medium basically is just acrylic paint. This without pigment. And it's thinner. So if you want to thin your paints, you pour it in to your paint pot. If your paints have gotten older and they're thick and chunky, and you mix it in. So this thins your paint out. So right now I'm reducing the effectiveness of this paint as a base paint. I don't know if it's going to be usable anymore, but the pot was already dead. The paint was just too thick. It was more like putty. I might have brought it back though. We'll see. Because what happened was the liquid binder in this paint started to dry up, which eventually will turn it just into regular plastic. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that cover of that pot was up, exposing it to air, and it doesn't seal anymore. Okay. I should put the lookers on for this. Here we go. Let me check chat real quick. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. You just learned something about the Blood Angel lore. Okay, here we go.
No. It's a little red rat. Can't be. 6, 8, 9, 4.
It'll work.
It's fine. I would put her on storm as per usual.
Sanguinius is like that's like one of the key points, because he was always considered like the second most powerful of the Primarchs, if not the first. He wasn't as powerful as Horus in sheer strength, but he was majestic. He had angel wings. He could fly. and he was pure
So yeah.
in nobility and thought.
Oh, it's these guys.
Horus tried to corrupt him, but failed. Because of all the Primarchs, I think there was 18 of them. Horus and Sanguinius were the closest. They're all brothers, but Horus and Sanguinius shared a bond, which some of them kind of resented, which is probably what led them to chaos. This is actually kind of good. It's like flowing nice. This is why you put water in your paint so it flows. Since I'm just laying in base color right here, it's good.
Yeah, I'll feel be careful because when I'm in those like the voice one, it can still be slapped. You're not invincible.
I've been on for like 3 hours. That's the most work I've done at once in a long time.
Yeah, that's right, run away.
But I'm on the clock. I gotta get this army done. I want to play.
Bro,
And as I was saying earlier,
acid,
I won't play models that aren't painted.
Spinning rat.
So it is a little thin. It doesn't quite cover as evenly as I like.
No, he has glacier. Or pack punch one of them. No, he has glacier, he has glacier. Oh, he just set himself up with acid. Yeah, watch out, because he does have glacier. Yeah, oh, I just realized that's why Fenn brings up glacier on us, and then slap us in the acid for the freeze kill. Dude.
Keep commenting. I'll catch up on the chat. I want to take advantage of this pile of paint I scooped out and my focus of my glasses on what I'm doing. I don't want to change my focus. Wow, because what's going on now is that the paint, I have it sitting on a popsicle stick. And it's actually kind of drying, getting thicker. So I need to kind of change how I lay it on there as I paint with it. I'm only 3 models in and it's already drying up on me. So the iconography of the Blood Angels, they have angels' wings and blood drops.
These weak slaps don't do much.
Their main logo is an angel, set of angel wings with a blood drop. With skulls. They like skulls. Yeah, this paint has already dried to the point where it's not really usable anymore.
No, Jackie,
it's going on too thick now.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
Stop.
In just a few minutes, it's become too thick. You see how just a few seconds ago it was flowing on so well?
Stop. You are going to die. Bro, they're all freezing each other, bro. I know. Freeze. Bro.
Wow, what a difference.
Moving around.
That's the glazed medium that's doing that.
If I can select the guy in this portal who gets sent banished,
Okay. Wash that. Put a little water on
No,
it. See.
snooze, leave him alone.
I just put a drop of water on my little pile of paint I was using. See how there's like a chunk? It's like chunking up on me. This might give this paint here a little bit of a fresh
Yeah,
life for a few minutes to get some more out of
yes,
it.
yes, one powder. Hey, resignation.
Oh, hi, Quad Beef. Thank you, man. Hold on, I'm catching up on chat. The GT at the portal. Yeah, hi. Yeah, that was a fun one. I like that GT. I like the portal. Good people.
Doo doo. No, snooze.
Okay, so lots of things. Let me kind of go now, and I'll talk about that as I paint. So, lore. There's a whole series of books, novels, that tell the story of the Horus Heresy, and I'm guessing at this point there's like 60 at least.
Come on.
Yeah, that helped. That helped. Now it's flowing again.
That's right.
I might be able to refresh it like once. So,
Come on, just slide into.
and every time you buy an army, you get a codex that kind of tells the history of the army, updating it, this and that. So, since I'm a Blood Angels player, that's all I really know. And I only got about 10 books into the series of Horus Heresy books.
You are a hungry little.
So, if you're interested,
Watch out, Jockey. Watch out.
start with that. Get an audio book. I think it's called Horus Rising is the first one.
No.
Look up the Horus Heresy. And that will, and especially since you don't know anything about it, it'll be really a great series for you to kind of learn. Because there's so many books, they kind of plod through the story, getting very, very detailed in some areas.
Jockey, I'm not giving you one.
There's so many stories to tell, so many characters. Oh, and you asked, where are the women? There's, as of right now, and this is part of what someone was mentioning about Henry Cavill. The women in 40K are called the Sisters of Battle. So they're like space nuns. Sexy space nuns.
All it takes is one slap.
But the universe of 40K is very
Rotating.
male-centric.
Rotate or fade.
This is 40,000 years in the future.
Why does the rotator fade?
It is not a very female-safe place. That's the truth of it.
Watch out, Jockey. Don't fight him.
Quad Beef, what army were you? Trying to remember.
Oh, it's gone.
Earlier, I was kind of joking about how I don't ever win at Best Sportsman
Oh my.
because I'm a little, I can be a little much, I guess. So, I mean, how would you rate me as an opponent?
That moves too much, bro.
I've gotten a lot better in my old age,
Flat, bro. Oh my.
especially since I'm not
He's just
like
moving.
winning tournaments isn't really my focus anymore.
No.
And when you don't really care, you're able to be a lot more free. But some people have the gift just to be able to be competitive and
So real, bro. Bro's literally, I like to move it.
not, and like be able to like be strict on the game and still be a good sport.
Watch out, Chucky.
And Matt Box, these Pop Goes the Monkey shoulder pads are great.
Okay, I was about to say. Yeah, nah. I was about to say.
They're nice and easy to paint. I love how they have a nice crisp edge on
Like,
them.
bro,
They really grab the paint.
He just balanced himself on a. Oops. I forgot.
As opposed to a lot of like Forge World stuff where it was not. It's like almost too fine detail.
I survived that. I was literally leaving the game.
Too difficult to paint. I am mowing through these X's. I gotta get done because I don't want to have to pull more paint out of the pot. So sorry for not checking chat.
Oh, it's gone already. Bro.
Oh, and Quabi, thank you for that compliment. I really, I was really proud of that army that I had there. And honestly, I do love to kind of talk about painting them and showing it off. Because it's a labor of love. I put a lot of work into these things.
On Tuesday, you're writing the Marvel World games the Fortnite. Like the game modes where we fight the mythics. We're finally getting them back. Yeah, the Doom Island's 30% right now.
These glasses are powerful. It's like I'm looking into their souls. I can see the echo of Sanguinius within them. They just magnify everything. But I need to keep my head perfectly still. Because it makes me sick. The changing of focus. I'm just being fast with this because I have a couple of highlights I have to do on the red. So this is just a base coat I'm putting on. So I'm leaving it so that it actually is kind of thin, where it's not a perfect layer. You can see some of the brush strokes and the black shining through. When I do the layers and the highlights and the shades on it, it will kind of enhance it. You'll see. I am taking the time when I do the brush strokes to do them consistently and leave a little bit of a brush stroke the same on all the X's. Almost done. Ooh, that time I just got a little queasy. I can't lean back because that's when I lose my focus. I just lean back. Don't do that. Oh. I'm getting a little sloppy now. I did another squad. I used masking tape. I sprayed them red. And then I masked an X out. And then I painted them black on top of that. They actually came out really good. But it was work intensive, and they weren't all the same. And some of them was really off. 4 more, then I'll check chat. I'll probably have to scroll up. Oh, we got an ad. But definitely that one drop of water I put on there really did the trick. It had dried up to the point of being unusable. And the water has broken it. Thinned it a bit, so I have to put more on. But definitely made it more usable as a base paint. But now it's just starting to get too thick again. Again, if you just kind of join me for the first time, it's September. Use your free Amazon sub. That way you don't have to suffer the ads. If you don't know what that is, you get a free monthly sub to any Twitch channel from Amazon. And that really helps me. It disables all the ads. It helps me grow. I was going to buy lighting, but maybe I'll save to get to that 350 and buy that camera, that macro camera. Yeah, instantly this paint thickened. Now it's hard again. I only have a couple more. I'll try to use it up. The water evaporated or something. Two more to do. I think one of my weaknesses when I'm playing is I have a very kind of dry approach when I kind of talk to people. And I might come off as a little bit arrogant. I'll admit I'm a little arrogant, but I might come off a little bit too much, I think. My head's just kind of bouncing around, thinking about like some of the comments in chat as I work. So I'm kind of having like 3 conversations at once in my head. So now I'm going to take a little break. There, done. Got them all. Boom, 20 X's painted. Lookers off. Give me a second to readjust my eyes. Those things are intense. Wow. All right. Oh, there wasn't a whole lot of chat. Oh, quad beef, thank you. That thank you. The most enjoyable game of the weekend. Oh, good, thank you. I've been working on that. And Miss Johnson, to a funny story to comment on that. I have a pretty good friend in gaming, and you know he looked like Balky kind of from Bosom Buddies. You know, just the classic tall. He looked like he was in the Monkees. He had like the haircut, tall, like Ringo Starr looking, classic nerd, and but he had this really beautiful girlfriend, like a model. She was like 6'2" and just gorgeous model. So she would come to like the grand tournaments with him for the weekend and just hang out with him as he was playing. And she would just sit there and like ask questions like coyly and cutely and like point out what she liked about the models on the table or just sit there. And when you're playing a lot of these guys at the tournaments, you know, a lot of them, to say it nicely, don't really know how to deal with stuff like that. We're all kind of socially awkward. And so, like, I watched them, and it was something I could see that they had planned out. Yeah, we just kind of battered it out in the middle of the table. The Blood Angels. So definitely, she was intentionally trying to throw off the opponent, and it worked. It was amazing because you know I've written back when I used to blog a lot about manipulating the game, and you know, in a competitive way, and I say that in a nice way, you know, not but yeah, you're doing things. I would always do things like like trying to, because back then people used to give you a sportsmanship score, so at the end of the game they'd rate you. So you know, you had to be a good boy or else you would get a bad rating. So like I would, and they would do it after the game, so you didn't know the score you were getting. So like I would, like, one of the things I would do was like pick out the model. You can tell like the model they're the most proud of, and I would always pick it out and ask questions about it and give compliments. You know, and that was, I do that stuff anyway, always. But in general, I would do that, specifically trying to score those points, trying to be. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe you'll think less of me for saying this kind of stuff. But you know, but like the other thing, like just simply trying to knock your opponent out of his plan, because everyone's got a game plan when they start a game in a tournament. So like doing little things to break the concentration. So it's interesting, the mind war that happens in 40K. Yeah. Everybody's on his snacks over there. It's lunchtime. But I'm on a roll with these guys. They're getting close to almost done. So now I have what I have left to do, just to talk about them for a second, with the brush. It's the last gray highlight, and then I'm gonna put some heavy black contrast paint into the recesses. That will make them darker than the surrounding gray. Make them add more of a shadow. They're looking pretty good. Then when I put the varnish on, that's where it all will pop. The transitions. All right, so should I keep going while I got this energy? I'm feeling good. Gray highlights? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah? Gray highlights? You guys want some more? You want some more highlights? Here we go. Move them aside. Where's the two I already did the highlights on? He's done. I think it was this guy. I think it was that guy. We'll see. Okay, so now we use I use Air Administratum Gray. Get some water. So the biggest mistake people do when they do the last highlight is to highlight. Let me check the YouTube chat. Francois Marion is back. Hello, Francois. Francois doesn't have Twitch or something. He can't come over to Twitch. So the biggest mistake people will do is they'll highlight every single edge of the armor with the base highlight, and then they'll come back and do the final highlight or highlights and cover every highlight they did previous. And you don't want to do that. The highlights should just be imagining the glint of light on the edge of an object. You want to just catch the corners and the slight edges. And this is where I wish I could show you on camera what to do, but I cannot. So, the secret to highlighting is not what you paint, but what you don't paint. That's my little Bob Ross moment. Oh, I know who Miss Johnson is. Okay. So really, you just want to kind of catch the edges. And this, again, is airbrush paint, so it's already super thin. If you're not using the airbrush paint, you definitely should put a drop of water in this to thin it out. Oh, that was see, there's a lot on my brush now. I'm going to dab that off. That was too much. I'm going to airbrush the fist with blue. So I'm not touching the fingers on the fists. You should be able to see those edges starting to pop out, even from the terrible camera. I should have my lookers on when I'm doing this. When I hit this highlight, I always start the brush in the area where it's going to be thickest, and then I drag it kind of quickly away from that area, which leaves me with like a line that gets less thick, kind of thinning. And that is called variety in line. You want to change your line quality to have thicker and thinner lines. When you have a thick line and it becomes thin, in space, that thin line will look like it's kind of coming out towards the viewer. So not only does the act of using a lighter color create a highlight? But having that lighter color being thicker or thinner on the edges of the armor also helps to create that highlight. You can see, checking some messages. I've been ignoring my phone. It's got all kinds of notifications. Because like when I publish stuff, it goes up on like TikTok and Instagram and everything else. So I get all these people kind of commenting on all the different platforms. All right. Yeah. I wish you could see this. Because that kind of nailed it. $17 more to go. Maybe if I got like a pure black surface here, it would probably focus on the models more. Maybe I can get it closer. Let's see. Ooh, it just focused for a second. Come back. Come back. Hold on. If I try this. Focus. Oh. Now you can see what I'm doing. So close to having good focus. It wants to, but even the light in the back it's focusing on, not the model. What if I did this? Yeah. Yeah, see, it's still focusing on the stupid fingers, not the mini. Anyway, I tried. The camera just doesn't have the ability. Okay. Thing is, now after I finish all 20 of these guys, I have 20 jump packs to paint. I think I'm going to wrap it up soon. For now. My son's hungry. Gotta feed the boy. And I'm hungry. Gotta feed the Jawa. It's really a beautiful day outside. I need to get outside for a little while. I should go for a walk out there. Yeah, this is going to be my last one for now. My eyes are starting to fade on me. I used to be able to paint for like 10 hours. I gotta say, this is my longest painting session in a while. Mostly because I've been having fun just kind of chatting and talking. So thank you everybody for joining me and kind of keeping me company while I paint. It's a pleasure to see old friends coming back from YouTube. People I've played against at tournaments. Oh, when the varnish goes on, oh, they're going to be beautiful. Yeah, I like that. All right. Put him in the dump pile for now. Okay, my friends, so thank you for being here, joining me as I paint. It's been nice to have you here. And it's break time for me, so I will come back later on today. Have a good afternoon.